Now we play a round called Boris Johnson and his Chamber of Secrets. This game involves Tom Allen and Milton Jones. If you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is school. Let's come on that. Tom.
Hello. I went to quite a rough school. I know. Isn't it moving? And it was a sort of school where people would come up to you and say things like, "Hey, you, do you want to fight, do you? Do you want to fight? Is that why you look at me like that? Yeah, you want to fight? Yeah, don't you want to fight? Don't you want to fight?" And I'd always say, "Oh, no, thank you. But thanks for thinking of me." Those girls could be so cruel. And at my school, to avoid getting picked on, everyone had the same of everything. So everyone had, like, the same pencil case. It was a pencil case that was made to look like a packet of Walker's crisps. And in it, everyone had the same Oxford math set, which was like a tin pencil case, which contained a ruler, maybe a foldable ruler for travel. a foldable ruler, which was great for underlining things, wasn't it? Until you got to the middle. Big bump in the middle. And a set square, which wasn't a square, was it? It was a triangle. And a compass. Oh, I'm glad I learned how to use a compass. Not a day goes by. It's a perfect circle. It's got a hole in the middle, but it's a perfect circle. And, like, when do you even get to use that math set? I mean, occasionally you'll get to do proper grown-up maths, or math, as they call it in America, don't they? But we do it more than once. When you get to do things like trigonometry and SOHCAHTOA. Do you remember that? SOHCAHTOA, SOHCAHTOA. Do you remember that? SOHCAHTOA. That's a thing. SOHCAHTOA. Sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. I mean, now, as an adult looking back, it would have been nice, wouldn't it, if they spent maybe half an hour, or even just like 10 minutes, just 10 minutes going, "This is a pension scheme." This is how you fill in a tax return. This is how you mend a broken heart. This is how you tell an estate agent to fuck off.
Thank you very much, Tom. OK, that leaves us with Milton. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is shopping.
Those reward cards are rubbish, aren't they? Got too many points on one of them, and now I'm not allowed to drive. It's really important if you buy something, of course, to read all the instructions. I don't know if you've ever tried to fill a baboon with helium. Prit is not the best lip salve I've ever used. I couldn't complain. Southern Comfort tastes nice. Ordinary Comfort tastes like fabric softener. But at least your burps smell of summer meadows. When I was in America, I really got into the culture, so I went into a shop and the guy said, "Have a nice day," and I didn't, so I sued him.
And it's food.
Oh, OK. Oh, very similar topics. I once went to a buffet in Reading, and that's not even the joke. It was organised by a woman called Wendy, and it was so beige. It was so bland. It was like a buffet representation of Reading. I looked across this buffet, right? They put out sausage rolls, right? Sausage rolls, right? Where they just whipped off the cellophane and put the corrugated plastic straight down on the table. Like we were dogs! Then we had Scotch eggs, right? Scotch eggs cut into quarters. Apparently no one can eat a whole one. Then we we had breadsticks displayed in a pint glass. I thought I was at a fucking UKIP rally. Then she starts putting down cold pizza slices next to wontons. No one's mixed Italian and Chinese cuisine like that since Marco Polo. Then she brought out the quadrant of dips. You know, the 4 dips. The 4 dips of the apocalypse. The white one, the other white one. Then there's a green one, what's that? Guacamole. Then there's a pink one, what's that made of? Sillet bang? Nobody knows. I was just glad to have something made of some sort of colour. Anyway, it was a terrible buffet, but thank you very much, Wendy.
The topic is communication.
Not a good day today. No one turned up to the first meeting of my sarcasm club, despite loads of people saying how much they were looking forward to it. Do you ever do that thing when you're on the phone?
You put it down.
No, you put it down.
No, you put it down.
Listen, you're a qualified vet and it's an old dog. Do you know, it was so cold the other day in the city of Chester, when I ordered a taxi, I ended up in Chichester. The only bright point of the journey was seeing a car going the other way with a seatbelt round a kebab. My wife and I, we argue sometimes.
You've left the lid up, you've left the lid up.
Yes, but what if it's a man, the next person to use the toilet?
It's a pedal bin, it's a pedal bin.
It was her birthday recently. I took her to an orchard in Somerset. We stood for about 20 minutes. Not the Apple Watch she wanted.
Thank you very much, Milton. The topic is exercise.
Also a picture of me. I'm not very good at exercise. I joined the gym. I joined Virgin Active because there wasn't a Virgin Passive. And I found the whole process very intimidating. Like, when you go in there, you're confronted with all the cardio area, like the cardio area. They call it cardio because that's where you go to have a heart attack. And then at the other end, they have what they call the free weights section, the free weights, which I have no business being in because it's for the bigger boys. The bigger boys go there all day. They're lifting things all day, trying to get big arms, trying to turn their arms into legs. And I think it all really started at school. Like, I didn't like doing PE at school. What would happen is, after assembly, one class would have to stay behind in the hall because they'd be doing gym. And I never found out who Jim was. But the worst bit was if you had to use the apparatus. And the apparatus basically was this huge, terrifying cage which had to be buckled to the wall. It was so terrifying. And older children would have to come in who'd been trained by the army. And they'd come in and they'd untether its bonds, and they'd pull a lever and it would lurch out and it would swing out, and these huge, terrifying arms have to be buckled to the floor, otherwise it would just swing out and kill everybody. And it had all these bars and ropes and chains. It was very much like a weekend I recently spent in Berlin.
Thank you very much. And the topic is parenthood. Away you go, Milton.
I went back to my parents' house the other day, looked into my neighbour's garden where I used to steal apples as a toddler. They didn't mind me stealing apples. It was dressing up as a toddler they thought was weird. I come from a family of auctioneers. There's my mum, my dad, my Uncle Philip, Auntie Eileen, my dying grandfather, going. I said to my dad, I keep making mistakes. He said, you're talking to the wrong person. I said, oh, no, not again. He said, well, it wasn't as bad as that Uber driver I had the other day. He fell asleep. So Calvin Klein's mum has labelled everyone else's pants. When my daughter was born, she had jaundice, so there she was, small, round, and yellow. We called her Melanie. Apparently, I didn't even turn up to one of my own children's christenings, according to one of them, who shall remain nameless.
Thank you very much. And it's travel.
Travel, OK, fine. Well, I travelled from over there. One of my favourite travel experiences was at secondary school when we went on the school music trip to France. And to get on the school music trip to France, you had to be part of the choir. I was in the choir, and it basically meant you got to hang out with all the other 13-year-old homosexuals who didn't yet realise they were homosexuals and their chatty female friends. And it was a great place to go and learn how to play a show tune on the flute. Not a euphemism. And this was back in the day when it didn't matter where you were going with the school. If you went on any school trip, you had to go by coach. Like, if you go to Australia, you go by coach. This was supposed to be a 5-day trip to France. We spent 2 days on the coach getting there and 2 days getting back. It was basically a day in France. So, on this trip, you really had to make the best of the coach trip. And for me, my favourite bit was when we got to stop off at the French hypermarket. So I thought that would be a great place for me to show off how much better I am than everybody else, because I'd actually been paying attention in French. So I went over to the patisserie and I said to the man there, "Bonjour, je voudrais un croissant, s'il vous plaît." And according to the French classes, the man behind the counter should have responded by saying, "Oui." Il y a un croissant ici, which, when you think about it, is basically the equivalent of someone coming over here and saying, "Hello, I'd like to buy a pasty, please." And then the man behind the counter responding by saying, "Yes!" There is a pasty here. I'm not even mentioning that it's part of a meal deal. So I said, "Bonjour, je voudrais un croissant, s'il vous plaît." And then the man behind the counter responded in normal French by going, blah, 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 blah. Certainly no idea what he was saying. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, my friend Kevin was no help. The only French he spoke was the French horn, which is a euphemism. I mean, I say they teach us how to speak French. Most of the time, they teach us how to sing it. I mean, I could have stood there and gone, "Quelle est la date de ton anniversaire?" But the idea of a 13-year-old English homosexual standing in the middle of a French hypermarket going, "What is the date of your birthday? What is the date of your birthday?" Couldn't be any more absurd. So I just responded by saying, "Oui, oui, d'accord, d'accord." Ended up with 8 kilograms of ham.
Thank you very, very much. Points there at the top.